me to wear not on a trail.
I hope my PR contacts aren't listening. We love Keen here in Digital Trends.
They're great. They're a great company.
Great thing.
They are not my fashion choice.
No. Which is funny because one of the guys was telling me that they have like this new sandal of theirs that's like sewn with like laces and looks kind of funky too, right? And they're a huge hit in Japan, like flying off the shelves in Japan.
I'm going to Japan. I'll bring some with me.
There you go. Yeah, bring some with you and you'll be a hit.
You'll
there.
be in style there.
All I want to do is be cool in Japan.
Which usually Japan is like, they're like way more fashion forward than like we are. So it's like, I'm like, so are those going to hit in like 5 years here?
Yeah.
So
Could be.
maybe stock up on them now.
There are probably some interesting things in vending machines in Japan. I would imagine. I've read some stories.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Is that a child?
Are you? Do you want to be in there?
Yeah, right. The
weirdest one I ever saw was in, I think it was in Spain. There was like a French fry dispensing machine.
Yeah.
But they'd been there forever.
Did you buy some though?
No. No. I didn't want to do it.
How fresh
I
they
watched
tasted.
other people eat them and it looked gross. It looked like just little pieces of rubber that they were. Yeah, it was so gross looking.
It might have been.
It could have been little pieces of rubber. Yeah.
Just waxed French fries.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll have to get a summation of whatever you find though in Japan. You're going to have to go on like a hunt for the weirdest vending machine stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Send me on that mission.
That's got to be a mission.
Challenge accepted.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I like that.
All right. Looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. This is Trends with Benefits. This is our weekly Roundtable Tech podcast where we talk about the tech topics of the day and whatever is going on in the world of technology. And we've got a bunch of stuff to get to today. We're going to be talking about the vending machines. I'll explain that in a bit. We've got Samsung and their possible foldable phone coming out this year. Maybe even this year, maybe sooner. We're going to talk about outdoor retailer. And the main topic that we're going to cover today is home assistance. And that's why I wanted to put up a question. So we're live on Facebook and YouTube right now. And I feel like we're at the start of a huge battle with home assistants. Like, especially coming up with the Super Bowl, there's going to be an ad for Amazon Alexa, which is weird seeing Jeff Bezos in a commercial. He's like becoming a...
I didn't know he had a slouchy eye.
That's one of those things where it's like, no, man, that's just a slouchy eye. It's like, that's one of those things you hire people to do that. You don't go in the...
He's the face of the company, though.
Yeah, I guess. Well, who's going to tell him no? I mean, he's the richest man in the history of the universe, so that's I guess you get to do your own commercials. But so we're going to be seeing that more, and we're going to be seeing a lot with a lot of the home assistants, especially this year. There's a lot of estimates that sales are going to be through the roof. I saw one, and again we'll get into it here in a minute. One saying that by 2020, like 70% of U.S. homes will have a home assistant. That seems a little like a bit of a stretch. But we'll get into it. So the question in the chat is, which one do you prefer to use? So I think we might have a little bit of trouble with sound, so we'll see if we can get on that here for in a second, maybe on the Facebook feed. But let us know which one you prefer, and let us know. So I'm Greg Nibbler. Let's introduce our cast, though, here today. And to my right, it is.
Hi, I'm Kim Wetzel. I'm the smart home editor, and I don't have a nickname yet. So I need one.
No,
we are going to have to get you a nickname.
But your Twitter name is Kim Dog, which I think is awesome.
True. That's true.
Also of note,
Kim Dog.
Kim Dog. Nice.
Real quick, I forgot to bring this up for everybody watching live. We apparently all dressed in the same uniform today.
Yes.
I promise that is not a Digital Trends requirement. It just happened this way. We're all wearing black shirts,
and nobody's mourning anything. But I know.
We're quite happy.
Yeah,
It's
right.
just winter in Portland.
Yeah, it's just how it is.
Yeah, this is a green shirt. It's just because it's Portland's so dreary, it just looks black. So,
all right. Well, possible Kim Dog.
Okay.
All right, Kim Dog's not
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
That might be too easy though. I don't know if you can give yourself a nickname.
Yeah,
So we'll
let's
have to think
level
about
it
that.
up.
All right.
did you create your own Twitter handle?
I
then?
did.
Oh, okay.
Years ago. Yes.
Why? What was Kim
Everybody
Dog?
always called me the Kim Dog in high
Okay.
school,
Love it.
college.
The Kim Dog.
The
Nice.
Kim Dog, actually.
Cool. My name is Rick Stella. I'm the outdoor editor here at Digital Trends.
Hello, Rick. And you just got back from Denver.
I did, yeah,
Yes.
last night.
So we're going to talk about the outdoor retailer event too here in just a little bit, and then on the end.
Adrian Warner, producer here at Digital Trends, a.k.a. Hot Nozzle.
Hot nozzle. We'll just leave that. We should not give any more descriptions of why you're hot
Nope.
nozzle. Just leave it.
Just leave
like,
it.
that is hot nozzle.
We'll
That's why
talk later.
Boom.
Yeah, exactly. Off camera, yeah.
All right. Well, take a look here in the chat before we get into talking about each one of the home assistants. And that was the question: is which one do you prefer? And I'm seeing a lot of people saying none, that you don't want one at all. And I
prefer my tinfoil hat. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying yes. They're listening devices for the government. They're all going to be listening in on you. But
Thanks for
here's the
tuning in,
thing.
Alex Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, pretty much. But here's the thing. there's a lot of devices that are listening to you. So, I mean, your home assistant, your phone is doing it. There's all kinds of different things that we can talk about with security when it comes to that. But the bottom line is these devices are going to be out there. And I think for adoption, though, for a lot of people, and I was one of these until somebody gifted me an Amazon Echo Dot. I was kind of like that, too. I'm like, nah, I don't need one. Like, I don't see any use for it. But now that I have it, I love it. Like, there are so many uses for it. Like I'm full in, I drank the Kool-Aid. I'm in. And I think for a lot of people, that's going to be one of the main things that's going to have to happen. Courtney says, I have a home assistant. It's my husband. So that's seeing some different.
That's a good one.
It's a different comment. That's pretty good. We need a rim shot after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm, again, curious to see what people think. But seeing a lot of people say no, and I'm wondering if it's just because you haven't tried one yet, or is it because you need your tinfoil hat that the government's listening to.
There was an article right before the holidays. I can't remember what site it was, like Wired or something, but they were like, it said, do not gift anyone, like your loved ones, an Amazon Alexa or Google Home because of this, like, thing that, like, oh, it's going to be listening to you. It's like the worst thing you can give somebody because it just, like, will expose everything in their life, right? It was an interesting take on it, but then still, I mean, millions of these things were sold over the holidays, right?
Yeah. Well, they were on sale. The Echo Dot and the Google Home Mini were on sale for $30 a pop over the holidays. So basically, it was like no brainer. I got my niece one for for Christmas. She loves it.
See, and that's why I think Amazon is smart with this, is selling it so that cheap, just to get it in the door. Because I mean, at $30, that's almost one of those things like, all right, sure, I'll try it out. They
were losing money on it, I think, weren't they? Just to get them out the door, right? Because it at least for Amazon, it sort of beefs up their ecosystem, and then people are buying stuff from Amazon. And
and they're like, what else can I connect it to in my home?
Oh, these light bulbs that I don't need, but they're $100. I'll buy them anyways, right? I gave my mom an Echo for Christmas too, so I was part of the problem.
Yeah. Is it a problem?
Not a problem, right? It's not a problem, right?
It's not a problem.
Well, that's what I want. Kim, what do you think about all this?
Well, I'll admit I was like you, Greg. I basically didn't have anything. Before I started at Digital Trends, I didn't have a single voice assistant, and then I had to test out a couple of Echo devices, and of course, I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. So now I have 3 in my house in the last 6 months.
Nice.
So I don't know, it's kind of a gateway drug to doing other things. You can get like all of your home connected. I can now unlock my door. I can turn on lights. I can do all kinds of stuff. I can watch my son on our Echo Show device. Like he's in a camera, he's sleeping up in his room.
In a box.
Yeah. No, he's in a vending machine.
Yeah.
He's 19.
Yeah, right.
He's very
He's
safe.
in college now. I just spy on him.
He's a really bright kid. And he means well.
But yeah, I think that we just had an article that said almost 50% of people are planning to buy a voice assistant device this year.
Wow.
So,
like in the United States or in the world?
In the U.S.
Okay.
U.S.
So a lot of people. It wasn't 350 million people in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
That is
Is
a
that true?
lot of
There's
sales.
that many people?
There was like 300
like
5 years ago or something.
Yeah,
I imagine we just grown.
Yeah, it's probably something like that. That is a lot of sales of devices. I mean, and that's one of the things talking about. I think there's going to be some huge battles. Obviously, I mean, Amazon and Google have been going at each other already, just as far as cutting prices and trying to get the Google Home Mini, which I still say they need a better name for their device. Like Google Home, it just doesn't.
Well, the power of Google, you thought they would have caught on more than they did. And I know 2 years ago at CES, Alexa was everywhere. This year, I mean, same thing, right? I mean, everything had Alexa integration.
Well, yeah, every Google Assistant was everywhere this year.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
So they are growing then.
I mean, everything still added Alexa capabilities, like so many devices, but Google made a big push to make
Are they
themselves
really,
known
like,
at CES.
neck and neck as far as connection and
Alexa
abilities and
still
things?
leads the way.
Okay.
As far as abilities,
As far as skills, as far as in terms of the number of devices,
Like integration and all that?
Integration, it's in the thousands now.
I remember Jenny's article, I think it was like a couple years ago, she did like a side-by-side test of them, and Google was like a little bit more conversational, but Alexa was like a little bit like stronger. Right?
That's still the case. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's still the case, I would say.
So with these two and Google Home and Amazon Echo, I mean, it's relatively, like we're saying, as low as $30. Like it's not that bad to get into it, to jump into that ecosystem and give it a try. And that's where I think a lot of try it out. The first dot's on
Gateway
us.
drug.
Bezos got to you, didn't
It is. He got to me. I know.
He got you.
He got my money. I contributed to that gajillion dollars he has.
I bought my mom one of the big Echo ones, and it was only $80.
Yeah.
Which isn't too bad. And it's like the better speaker. It's like, and she loves it. I mean, she had it for like a half a day, and she was just like texting me like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." And
Yeah.
Well, we've got Google and Amazon obviously in it, and there are of course other companies that are trying to jump in. But I wanted to just hit on the big three here today. And Michael is saying I use Siri, and that's one of the things I think Apple is coming into this late. I mean, they're late in the
very
game
late.
with the HomePod. And in case you don't know, the HomePod's going to be, it's a smart speaker and a home assistant. $350, I think is what it is coming out, which is
a lot of dough.
Unless they upgrade
ridiculous.
Siri, because Siri is such a poor. I'm sorry, Michael, but Siri's such a poor like a virtual assistant. You know, that at least I found on my comparatively. Yeah, like I've just never needed to use it on my iPhone. When I did, it just missed the mark every single time. Or she, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Does anybody use Siri?
No.
No. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's I feel like it's getting passed by. But with Apple, there's so much brand loyalty in there that people may be, okay, $350, whatever, it's Apple, I will buy it and have enough to penetrate the market. Like, how does it compare? Have you tried the HomePod yet, Kim? Or
I didn't. One of our colleagues did last week. He says that, what the thing with the HomePod is, it's a great sounding speaker.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. Apparently better than the Sonos One, better than the Google Max, according to my colleague.
Because the Sonos was the best one before this came out,
for
right?
sound.
And it integrated both Google Home and Alexa, right? The Sonos one
I
did.
think it
I
was
believe so.
just Alexa. Well, actually,
I can't.
No, you
I
might
don't-
be
I don't
right.
know.
Because there was one that integrated both that seemed like, and it was a little bit more expensive, but that would just be, you would have access to both ecosystems, which would just be like
and it
crazy.
was hackable.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, if it's not hackable, I don't want
The
to hear it.
HomePod, though,
Yeah.
like it works with the HomeKit, which doesn't have a lot of products attached to it yet. There's not a lot of integration there, so we'll see what happens with that.
Oops, so another year or two then.
Maybe. Who
Sorry, I got to
knows?
delete my comment real quick. I just wrote, anyone have a Google Home, but I dropped the M when I wrote that. So on accident.
Oh,
I'm just addressing that for a second. I'm sorry. I got to delete something.
Does anybody have a Google Home though?
My bad.
You gotta log into your burner account, Greg.
Yeah,
Log
whoopsie
account.
daisy.
Yeah,
That is not what I meant. That's not what I'm asking Google Home.
Sure,
all right. But so with these three different ones, I mean, and especially with the sales coming up, we're going to see a lot of differences. Now, for you personally, and Kim, since you are the home editor here, you prefer Amazon?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends
advantages
on
for
which
each?
device. It depends on what you want it for. Like there's right now, Amazon has no answer for the HomePod or the Google Home Max if you're looking for something that just straight up sound. At least not not an Amazon device. They have, obviously Sonos One and some other speakers that now have Alexa integration, but it just depends on what you're looking for.
Now, what about for the rest of the home? Like if you are going to get a home assistant, and start using it with light bulbs, with locks, like what you're doing.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more integration with Alexa. So
Yeah.
if you're looking to have more products that are compatible, Alexa's the winner. But Google Home is Google Assistant is catching up very, very quickly.
I'm seeing something on here. Yeah, Drew Prindle. Shockingly.
Friend of the show.
Hydro.
Not being eavesdropped on 24 hours a day.
So I will say this to
This
that.
is the guy with a chip installed into his hand. Like literally, you can look that up. But anyway,
To the security point of it, is that anyone who uses Google or Facebook anyways is getting tracked from like almost everything
Every
that they
angle,
do.
yeah.
Anyways. Whether or not they're listening to you actually say it with your voice, like any keystroke you have on those sites, or they're tracking you in some way. So unless you just don't use the internet at all,
yeah, it's
not that much different.
it's not that
Yeah.
much different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like granted, yes, I mean I don't want someone listening on me for sure, but like I use Google and Facebook every single day. Like so someone is listening to me in some capacity.
right. You think Facebook's not taking notice of what
Right.
you're writing down on there? Yeah, of course they are. Also, jumping in here, let's see. Gabriella says Google is smarter than Siri. Alexa is smarter than Google. I already have Amazon Prime. Alexa will be our next addition to their family. Yeah, I mean,
Smart.
Yeah. So just trying to weigh them out against each other. I mean, we'll have to see. I am really curious to see the Apple HomePod in person
Yeah.
and just see if that speaker is, because that's going to be a deciding factor.
Yeah.
The speaker. The other thing though, with the HomePod, from what I understand, you have to get Apple Music. Is that right? It won't run
Right.
Spotify.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah,
you can't stream
I
anything
just jumped
else.
from Apple Music
Oh,
back to
goodness.
just to
Spotify.
know.
No.
Pass, hard pass. All right, next topic.
Right.
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seals it.
That's a really
It's kind of a deal breaker.
Yeah,
a little
ridiculous.
Bit.
We'll see
move.
if they change that. I mean, Apple doesn't do a very good job of like working nicely with other
No.
companies.
Right.
in
No, they
general,
don't.
So
Don't
we'll
say.
see.
Yeah.
We'll see if they change that down the line.
What's the default voice for Google? Since it doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
That's what I think it should be named. Gary. That's what I was making this. I
The
think
Gary
it needs a
Google.
name. Yeah,
Gary
it
Google.
needs a name. I want to pitch that to Google because Google Home is so boring. Like, okay,
Yeah,
Google. It's
Google
like,
Google Home is
Assistant.
boring, but
hello,
like,
Gary.
if I were to purchase one, because I don't have a smart assistant currently, I would go towards the sexless one.
Yeah.
'Cause, like I don't really like the fact that these home assistants come automatically with like a female voice and a female name.
Oh, yeah.
Bothers
So
me a
Gary,
little
you
bit.
want like an Australian guy? Is that what you're saying?
Well, hello there, hot nozzle.
Oh, I like that. I mean, in the end, it's like 1/2 dozen, but that would be my thought in the back
Sure.
of my head if I was going towards purchasing one or the other.
Yeah, what is the default Google Voice home?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That
I mean,
is
we've
a
got
good
some people in here that
question.
use
I'm gonna
some-
go test it after we're done here. Find out.
All right, we shall do that. Just take a look here. A couple of comments.
Okay.
Okay, go test that out. Dan says serious trash. So that's Dan, also somebody we know here at Digital Trends. Dan,
Another friend of the show.
yeah, and still comments coming in, but I want to jump to our other topics. We've got to cover everything here in the next little bit. But Tony does say, what can you do with a home assistant that you can't pick up your smartphone and do too? That's probably a good question for a lot of people. You know,
But
other
it-
than the speaker integration.
Unless you use one, you won't really know. There's
Yeah.
a slight efficiency to it that like
Yeah.
just is different from just picking up your phone. You know,
Right.
It's why like even calling Uber is easier than calling a taxi. You know,
Yeah.
even though it's just like you're just doing it on your phone, you're not actually making a phone call. There's just something easier about it. You know,
Right.
That's true.
It's just kind of intuitive once you start using it.
Yeah.
It just streamlines everything. You know, I think in a way that you just won't know until you actually start using one.
Well, there's a great article at Digital Trends about this. We have tons of articles actually about home assistants. So go ahead and take a look there. You can read up on all of them, decide which one you want to use. We're going to get to talking about the vending machine thing that I want to get to here at the end. We've got Samsung and their news about the foldable phone. So that's going to be something we're going to be talking about here in just a few minutes. But I wanted to talk about the outdoor retailer event that Rick was just at. And so outdoor retailer is another example of one of these things where where we forget about how incorporated tech is into everything. You know, everything. All of these outdoor products are now being incorporated with tech.
They're trying to be a lot of
trying
more.
to be.
Yeah, I think the winter show is like a little bit more gear oriented than say summer show is, but we did see a few tech oriented things, and there's a few articles up on Digital Trends right now. We gave out awards while we were out there, but a few things like Spy, the sunglass manufacturer, is making these goggles that shift the tint with just like a press of the button on the side
That's
of the goggle.
cool.
So
Those
it's
were
like
so freaking
Yeah,
cool.
that's
like
cool.
clear, mid tint, and then like a heavy tint for sunny days.
See, I
which is,
love
like-
that idea.
Yeah, right?
Up on the mountain, because
great.
that's always a pain in the ass.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
just to be able to tap it though and have.
And I've done it so many
change,
times where I've
that's cool.
taken like my high glass goggle and it was like the conditions were bad, and then it's just like not only is visibility bad, but I'm making it worse by wearing like dark sunglasses.
Yeah.
you know. And so these you can change them on the fly. It takes like 4 seconds to change from one tint to the other, and the charge. The only downside is you have to charge them, which we
Yeah.
charge so many things already every single day. Like charging
Right.
one more, like your snow goggles, just seems like sort of
Mm-hmm.
a bummer. But
Really, yeah.
they do last the entire day. So if you just know you want to take them out the day before you go, just plug them in.
Plug them in, charge them up.
But yeah, they were pretty cool, and I used them when I was up there too, and they did work out pretty well. And it was a sunny day, so it was like I used the dark tint, but like going into the trees where it's like a little bit more shadowy, you could just like easily pop them like with your gloves,
Yeah.
and it would change it like that. And you'd
With
be-
your gloves,
Yep.
that's important.
Yeah.
It's
being
It's like a
noted-
huge button on the side.
It's being noted
That's
that
cool.
those are like transition lenses, but I
I'll
think
say,
I'm a little
I'll say
more-
this.
Yeah.
I'll say this. What's different about them with transitions? Because I said the same thing. Is that if you're sitting like, or if you're in the sun and you only get one side getting hit, only that one half would transition. And transition lenses are kind of garbage, anyways. That they're not always like really reliable. This will change the entire tint of the goggle.
Got it.
No matter what you're doing or where you're at.
How fast does it switch over?
So depending on the tint, it's like 4 to 8 seconds.
Oh,
Okay.
That's easy.
And you can feel that it's on too, because it will like have like a small vibrate as it's transitioning. So you'll know when it's done vibrating, it's changed.
You could do that while you're. Oh, your face just.
Yeah.
We're done.
It was on like the side of my helmet, so it was like vibrating a little bit, but it's nothing like too crazy. Like it wasn't like rattling me. Or
Yeah,
anything.
you could do that on the lift while
Yeah,
you're going up.
exactly.
I could see that having more things integrated into it as well. I mean,
Yeah.
put Alexa on that.
Oh, yeah.
While you're-
Alexa, change the tint.
Alexa, yeah.
Alexa
right up.
Volume 4.
Yeah.
Alexa, how many people are at this chairlift before you go down? I mean, there's some different ways you can incorporate it in. So you have that there, and I know there were a couple other products that we wanted to.
Yeah, so
talk
like
about.
Life Straw has a new like lead filtration system, which is kind of cool. I mean, not necessarily anything that a normal camper or hiker would come across, but and there's the photo we have there.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it filters out lead. So more like for like an urban setting, or if like a natural disaster hits, or for developing countries, or Flint, Michigan,
Right.
you could use that to filter out like 98% of the lead in the water. So it's
That's
not
pretty
100%, but it's enough to where it would make it drinkable.
How much is that?
Yeah.
Well, they're not out quite yet, but it's just it's going to be a similar attachment to what they have now, which are I mean
Okay.
they range anywhere from $40 to $120 depending on what attachment they come in.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I kind of want one of those. And then you have one more too that I know I wanted to hit, which was the jacket.
Yeah, the jacket. It's called a 686 Hydrastash jacket. So what it is they integrated a hydration bladder into the powder skirt of a jacket. And so you can see here, this guy is like drinking, that little straw he has in his mouth connects down to like around where your waist is.
That's so smart.
And so instead of wearing a backpack, it might bog you down.
Why didn't they think of that before?
Right.
It's like genius.
Yeah.
So the question I had is like if it would be like if it would slosh around, if it would like make you uneven. But when you have the powder skirt snapped in, it actually like kind of makes it really sturdy.
Yeah.
And there's anti-slosh dams, so you can kind of see it there in the powder skirt there at the bottom. There are anti-slosh dams that make it so that the water does stay like in there and it won't like kind of slosh around and kick off your balance.
Never heard of anti-slosh technology.
I heard it for the first time like 2 days ago. So it's very innovative.
Well,
stuff.
I was thinking about this. I mean, what if you wanted to bring that into, say, a concert and you're wearing a jacket that,
It'd be really hot.
I like
for
that.
the-
Put other things besides water in there.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It will be hot, but
So and that's what. So usually most like if you're taking like a Camelback with you skiing or snowboarding, like even the ones that have insulated like tubes, they'll always freeze, right?
Yeah.
And this actually uses your body heat to keep the water from freezing.
That's smart.
And so it won't be like hot water, but because it's still cold out, it'll make it like drinkable and like not freeze it either in the pouch or in the tube that comes up because it's
Does
all
it-
insulated in your like.
Does
next
it
to your
keep it
body.
from getting too warm? Like if you're on the airplane and just want to have a few drinks.
And I don't know that, but like in a concert, you might be drinking like boiling whiskey, you know.
and you'd be hot.
but it's
You'd be in
still
a concert.
cheaper. It's still cheaper.
This hot Coors Light, it works though. I saved myself $11. Yeah.
Can you clean the pouch? You just toss the whole thing in the washing machine, or
I imagine you would clean like you would a Camelback, which also means that if you put beer or anything in it, like you're gonna ruin the
it's gonna be
bladder
gross.
the
Yeah.
first time you put anything other than water in it. But
That's true.
you could get a second bladder. I don't know.
No, vodka. Vodka.
But
this is my
sterilize.
vodka.
Sure, yeah.
This is my vodka bladder.
Is that water,
My
sir?
whiskey bladder.
But that was pretty cool, and like because it can work. I mean, I was so skeptical about it when we first went out there because I don't like just the idea of having like water inside my jacket, like not even sloshing, but like if it breaks, then like I'm gonna be soaking wet in
Yeah.
the snow, and that just seems terrible. But it does actually work, and it looks kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and all that's at digitaltrends.com
Yep,
too.
all the award
Take a
content went
look.
up yesterday, and on the manual as well.
The
too.
manual,
Yep.
the manual.com. So take
Yeah.
a look on both of those. We'll have a wrap up of everything that happened. And we're going to bounce to the Samsung foldable phone just to talk about that here really quick. But Buck did say, Rick, can I fill it with pudding? So that was a question that was for you.
Buck, live your own life, man. Do whatever you want to do. Yes, fill it with chocolate pudding, whatever,
It's an
whatever kind of
interesting
pudding you like.
idea.
Yeah,
All right, so...
be like really sucking it through that straw. Though.
yeah, seriously. All right.
Just sucking pudding. Nothing as refreshing as pudding when I'm snowboarding. Am I right, guys?
How weird would that be next to somebody on the chairlift?
Yeah.
They're sitting there like just looking at you, sucking out chocolate pudding.
Like, is that frozen chocolate milk? No, sir. That's pudding.
That's
pudding.
pudding, man.
Yep.
It's a weird world we live in.
You want some?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to go ahead and pass on that.
All right. Something else in the news this week. Last couple of things that we want to talk about is getting back to phones, and we're going to be hearing a lot about mobile devices over the next month, leading up to Mobile World Congress, which is the huge convention for phones happening, I guess, at the end of this month, really, and in Barcelona. And Samsung is expected to have a couple of things debut. Nobody knows 100%, but one of the big things this week that's been talked about is the Samsung X phone, X or 10. I don't know if they're going to go the iPhone way. I hope they go X just to like change it up a little bit. But anyway, it's the Samsung phone, and this is rumored to be what they've been working on for years, which is the foldable OLED phone. And there's some specs that have been shown out there that might be from different patents. We've got a couple of pictures of renderings of how it might look.
So like a... Oh, okay.
Like
I was
an
like, what
actual-
makes this different from a flip phone? But I see now.
No,
it's,
it's
like a
actually
book.
it's like a book or like a device that just completely folds in half, but the screen folds with it. So and then pops back into place.
So it's like a small
like
portable
a
tablet
DS,
kind of
yeah.
thing. Or
kind
DS,
of.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
but
looks
a
weird.
completely
Even a
foldable.
wallet or
It's
something.
really
Yeah,
odd.
so it can condense
is that
down
a
to
solar
really
panel?
small. I mean, I suppose the different things that you could use with
okay.
this.
That makes way more sense.
Yeah, and if you're watching live,
Yes.
The patent. Yeah.
if you're watching live, there's a few different renderings on there of what it could be. Who knows who drew these things up? But that's one of the things that's expected, and they're actually, again, predictions are saying that they may have this thing actually out by the end of this year or early next year. Some version of a foldable OLED phone. Is that anything that you guys want?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I want it just because it's
1,
cool.
2, 3. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna guess the price is gonna be ridiculous.
$1 billion.
I'm
Sure.
sure. I'm sure.
they're-
Right.
maybe even $2 billion.
Yeah, possibly $2 billion.
But I don't know. Apple set the bar pretty high, charging whatever $1,200 for $1,000 for the X. So
their screen is so nice, and when I finally saw it like in front of my face for the first time on the iPhone X, and if I could have that in something that would fold and protect it, I might drop money on that. Yeah. It's just also really cool. Like it's the future,
right?
Foldable screens. I don't know. I'm really excited
it is cool.
I would hope that, like, because a foldable screen would definitely help protect the screen, but if it's foldable, I feel like that would be pretty durable anyways, right?
Right, exactly.
So, like, no matter what, like, you could drop your phone and it would be, you're right, the future
it's
of
like
phones.
It's like all the magic of, what was the old, like, really cool phone that was a flip phone, the Razor?
Motorola Razor.
Motorola Razor, all of that.
I think I meant like the
cool.
T-Mobile sidekick that, like...
Oh, no.
Okay, anyways.
I mean, I'm gonna guess, it would probably be $1,000. I was just putting that in there. Rick
probably.
says
Easily,
not interested.
sure.
Perry says no, not at that high of a price. I mean, you're gonna have to pay a lot when this thing does come out. But the idea behind it, if they could mass produce this and start using this in other devices, it kind of goes along with the rollable television, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of possibilities with it. But I'm sure we'll know more going further in this month about that. So we'll have lots of coverage of Mobile World Congress. The last thing I wanted to get to has to do with the Super Bowl, which is this weekend, and in Minnesota. Yeah, I think probably everybody
don't care.
So just root for the Eagles then, please. Come on, just root for the Eagles.
I will definitely, because I'm not rooting.
I want to be careful. I think there's a
New England fan.
There's a hardcore Patriots fan that shares a wall with us. It's going to punch through the wall if we say too much. But it's in Minnesota, and there is a company who has developed this thing. And let me pull up the name of the company. It was I'll get them here in a second. But they've created a vending machine that dispenses snowballs, actual hand-packed Minnesota snowballs. They've got some images of it there.
Hand-packed Minnesota snowballs.
It's a hand-packed Minnesota snowball you got right there. We'll just leave it at that.
I recognize that snowball anyway. I like that they come in like tennis ball containers almost, like with the pop top.
Yeah, and they said, I mean...
And whoever stacked those, that's amazing.
Yeah, and the guy who created it, he said it. I want to find his exact quote.
The man who created the snowball.
Yeah, he said the project was exceptionally fun because the entire idea rests firmly at the intersection of brilliant and dumb, which is great.
Sure.
Yeah, because they had to keep it just the right temperature.
And you know how he's probably going to make a small fortune off this weekend.
Probably.
I bet people are going to buy this like crazy just to buy a snowball.
I think so too.
Yeah,
Really?
I think it was $1.
Yeah, $1 a snowball, right?
Yeah.
I would hope it would not be more than $1.
I don't know.
And there's like snow on the ground right next to you. Like, but I could just make my own.
Yeah, but
that's
I don't know.
These are the experts. Yeah. It's the authentic Minnesota snowball.
Do I know how to make it right?
I think it's an adorable and brilliant marketing gimmick. The amount of packaging that is going to be used to contain snowballs infuriates me.
Yeah,
it's like when they sell like the pre-peeled oranges in the container.
Why?
Sorry for making that up.
It has a wrapper. It's called nature.
Right.
Well, they are going to be there for $1. You can buy them. I'm curious. I hope they have like a video near there, just so you can see what happens when a bunch of drunk people are buying snowballs.
That's my concern. Somebody might get hurt.
Especially
are they going to be
fans.
if they're in like a freezer? Are they going to be rock hard?
Yeah,
no, that's what it said. It's like
wondering.
the perfect temperature, so they don't disintegrate and they don't freeze.
Yeah,
okay.
And they said it was
they can maintain that.
Yeah, I mean,
it should work.
You can use that for a lot of things. I mean, if they can translate that technology with, I don't know, that's pretty cool. $1. Yeah, Perry says $1 to throw a perfect snowball at your friend. Hell yes.
I wonder if they'll go up on like eBay or something in a matter of minutes. And
how would they ship them? Just be like a thing of water.
Are you supposed to carry them away from Minnesota? Like, I don't understand.
think so.
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess you take it home and.
Or do you
look what I bought?
Be water.
Here's a canister of water.
It's gonna be water.
It's $1. It's worth $1, I guess. Do you get 3 snowballs in the package all for $1?
I think
it's
you
just
do,
one.
based on, or is it just one? I'm not entirely sure.
They need to melt, and it's Minnesota hand-packed water.
we need answers.
Well, either way, there it is. You can find out at digitaltrends.com.
I say, where is this article at?
Yeah, go take a look right there. The vending machine is pretty cool. Actually, the picture is pretty awesome of it. So you can check that out there. Again, thank you everybody for tuning in. This is Trends with Benefits. We do this show every week live at 2:30 p.m. Pacific on Facebook and YouTube, and then it goes up as a podcast. So subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the audio. That way you make sure you get this every week when it goes up. It's usually Thursday evenings. You'll have it right there ready to listen to it on iTunes or Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave a review and do all that, and follow all the stories that we've been talking about at digitaltrends.com. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with another episode.
That was a hell of an outro.
That was a long. I was running out of breath. I was like, how far can I push this?